You wake up every single day with goals in your mind. You tell yourself this will be the year you transform your life. You'll get in shape. You'll build that business. You'll fix your habits. You'll become disciplined. But then something stops you. It's not laziness. It's not lack of ambition. It's the quiet, invisible enemy called perfection. Perfection whispers to you, don't start until you're ready. Perfection says, if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. Perfection tells you, wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself. And while you wait, life moves. The truth is simple. Growth is messy. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth is imperfect. And if you keep chasing perfection, you will never give yourself permission to grow. Look at the mindset of high performers. Take someone like David Goggins. He didn't start as the strongest, the fastest, or the most disciplined man on the planet. He started as someone overweight, insecure, and stuck. But he didn't wait to be perfect before he began. He started where he was. He embraced the struggle. He chose growth over comfort. That's the difference. Perfection is about image. Growth is about progress. Perfection wants applause. Growth wants improvement. Perfection is obsessed with how it looks. Growth is obsessed with who you are becoming. Most people never start because they're afraid of being seen as beginners. They're afraid of failing publicly. They're afraid their first attempt won't match the vision in their head. But every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once terrible. Every confident person was once insecure. Think about it. When a baby learns to walk, do they wait until they can walk perfectly before taking their first step? No, they fall. Again and again. They wobble. They cry, but they get back up. They don't judge themselves. They don't say, maybe walking just isn't for me. They grow through repetition. Somewhere along the way, we lose that mindset. We start comparing. Social media shows us polished results. The perfect body, the perfect lifestyle, the perfect morning routine. We see the highlight reels, but never the behind-the-scenes struggle. And we think we need to be flawless before we deserve success. But growth doesn't care about your ego. Growth cares about consistency. If you go to the gym and lift light weights, that's growth. If you read 5 pages instead of 50, that's growth. If you make 1 sales call instead of 0, that's growth. Perfection would say, that's not enough. Growth says, that's progress. And progress compounds. The problem with perfection is that it creates paralysis. You overthink. You plan endlessly. You tweak. You adjust. You wait. You tell yourself, I'll start Monday. Then Monday comes, and you're not ready. So you wait for next month. Then next year. Growth doesn't wait for permission. Growth says, start now. Improve later. The first version of your dream will be ugly. Your first video might be awkward. Your first business idea might fail. Your first attempt at discipline might collapse after a week. But none of that defines you. What defines you is whether you keep going. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear direction. You don't need perfect discipline. You need daily effort. You don't need perfect confidence. You need courage to act despite doubt. Understand this. Perfection is ego-driven. It's about protecting your image. Growth is identity-driven. It's about building your character. When you focus on growth, failure becomes feedback. When you focus on perfection, failure becomes proof that you're not good enough. That's a dangerous mindset. Let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. You could spend months trying to create the perfect setup, perfect lighting, perfect script, perfect editing. Or you could record with what you have, post consistently, and improve with every upload. Which one leads to real results? The world rewards execution, not intention. You don't get stronger by thinking about lifting weights. You get stronger by lifting them. Badly at first, awkwardly at first, inconsistently at first, but still lifting. Every time you choose growth over perfection, you build resilience. You train your mind to tolerate discomfort. You teach yourself that mistakes are not threats. They're teachers. Growth requires humility. It requires you to say, I don't know everything. It requires you to accept criticism. It requires you to look at your weaknesses without running from them. But here's the reward: freedom. When you let go of perfection, you free yourself from fear. You stop worrying about being judged. You stop needing approval. You start focusing on the work itself. And that's where real power lives. Because growth is internal. It's not about proving something to others. It's about proving something to yourself. Imagine who you could become if you stopped waiting to be perfect. Imagine if instead of saying, I need to lose 30 pounds, you said, today I will make one better choice. Instead of saying, I need to become confident, you said, today I will do one thing that scares me. Instead of saying, I need to have it all figured out, you said, I will learn as I go. That shift changes everything. The truth is, perfection is an illusion. Even the people you admire are still growing. They still doubt. They still make mistakes. They just don't let those mistakes stop them. And you shouldn't either. If you want to build a strong body, focus on getting 1% better each day. If you want to build wealth, focus on learning one new skill at a time. If you want to build mental toughness, focus on keeping promises to yourself. Even small ones. Growth is not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's often boring. But over time, it becomes unstoppable. 5 years from now, you won't regret starting imperfectly. You will regret not starting at all. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. There will always be something missing. More time, more money, more confidence, more knowledge. Start with what you have. Start with who you are. Start today. Let your mistakes shape you. Let your failures strengthen you. Let your discomfort stretch you. Because at the end of the day, perfection will keep you stuck. But growth will take you places you never imagined. And this is just the beginning. The biggest shift you will ever make in your life is this. You stop asking, how can I do this perfectly? And start asking, how can I improve today? That small change in thinking separates dreamers from doers. Perfection keeps your focus on the outcome. Growth keeps your focus on the process. And the process is where your power lives. When you focus only on the outcome, you become impatient. You want results immediately. You want visible proof that your effort is working. And when you don't see it fast enough, you feel discouraged. You start questioning yourself. You start doubting the journey. But growth teaches patience. Think about someone like Kobe Bryant. He didn't become one of the greatest basketball players in the world because he was obsessed with looking perfect on game day. He became great because he was obsessed with practice, early mornings, late nights, repeating the same shot thousands of times, studying his weaknesses, fixing small details. That's growth. Nobody applauds a repetition. Nobody sees the lonely hours. But that's where transformation happens. Perfection wants quick validation. Growth accepts delayed gratification. If you are building your body, you won't see a six-pack in 2 weeks. If you are building your business, you won't see millions in 2 months. If you are building discipline, you won't feel unstoppable in 2 days. But if you stay consistent, something powerful happens. You begin to change internally before the results show externally. You start becoming someone who shows up even when you don't feel like it. You start becoming someone who finishes what they start. You start becoming someone who values effort over excuses. That identity shift is everything. Most people quit because they tie their self-worth to immediate success. If the video doesn't go viral, they feel like a failure. If the workout doesn't show instant results, they feel like it's pointless. If the first attempt doesn't succeed, they assume they're not talented enough. But growth doesn't work like that. Growth is a series of small, almost invisible wins stacked on top of each other. It's choosing water instead of soda. It's waking up when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze. It's finishing the task even when motivation disappears. And motivation will disappear. That's another lie perfection tells you, that you should feel inspired all the time, that you should wake up energized and ready every single day. But real growth often feels boring. It feels repetitive. It feels uncomfortable. That's normal. The difference between average and extraordinary is not talent. It's tolerance for discomfort, the ability to keep going when it's not exciting anymore. Look at entrepreneurs who built massive companies. Take Elon Musk. Before the success, there were failures, rockets exploding, companies on the edge of bankruptcy, public criticism, doubt from the world. If he had been focused on perfection, he would have stopped after the first public failure. But growth means learning from what went wrong and coming back stronger. That's what you have to do in your own life. If you miss a workout, don't quit the program. If you fail an exam, don't quit studying. If your content doesn't perform well, don't quit creating. Adjust, improve, continue. Growth asks one question: what did this teach me? Perfection asks, how did this make me look? One builds resilience. The other builds insecurity. When you focus on growth, you detach from other people's opinions. You understand that criticism is part of the journey. You understand that not everyone will believe in you at first. And that's okay, because growth is personal. You are not competing with the world. You are competing with a version of yourself from yesterday. Did you show up today? Did you try? Did you learn? Did you improve even slightly? If the answer is yes, you are winning. Another powerful truth: growth requires you to embrace being uncomfortable. Comfort feels safe, but it keeps you stagnant. Growth lives on the edge of your limits. The first time you speak in public, your voice might shake. The first time you invest money, you might feel nervous. The first time you try something new, you might feel like an outsider. That discomfort is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you are expanding. Imagine if you decided that mistakes are not embarrassing, but necessary. Imagine if you saw failure not as proof of weakness, but as proof that you are trying. That mindset will make you unstoppable. Because once you stop fearing mistakes, you start taking action. And action is the engine of growth. Perfection waits for clarity. Growth creates clarity through action. You don't figure out everything before you start. You figure it out because you start. Every successful person you admire once had no idea what they were doing. They learned by doing. They improved by failing. They refined their skills by making mistakes. You are allowed to be a beginner. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to grow at your own pace. What you are not allowed to do, if you truly want success, is stay stuck because you're afraid of not being perfect. Let go of the need to impress. Let go of the need to look flawless. Let go of the pressure to have everything figured out. Instead, commit to one thing: progress. Small progress. Daily progress. Relentless progress. Because when you focus on growth, something amazing happens over time. The habits compound. The skills sharpen. The confidence builds naturally, not because you forced it, but because you earned it. And one day, you'll look back at your early attempts, the awkward videos, the weak workouts, the failed ideas, and you will smile, not because they were perfect, but because they were the foundation of who you became. Growth is not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. That's the mindset that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Most people get trapped in the illusion of perfection. They spend more time imagining what success looks like than actually doing the work. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves. But the perfect version doesn't exist, and the perfect moment will never arrive. Growth happens when you start with what you have and improve as you go. Think about the times you've hesitated because you wanted everything to be flawless. Maybe you delayed starting a fitness routine because your gym setup wasn't ideal. Maybe you avoided creating content because your camera wasn't perfect or your lighting wasn't professional. Maybe you didn't speak up in a meeting because you feared saying something wrong. These are all forms of perfection, holding you back. But each time you wait for perfection, time passes, opportunities fade, and potential is wasted. Real growth requires action, even when conditions are not perfect. The first step is often uncomfortable. You might fail, you might stumble, but that's the point. Failure is part of the process. Every successful person has experienced countless failures, and they didn't let those failures define them. Instead, they let those failures guide them. They learned, adapted, and improved. That's growth. When you focus on growth, you stop comparing yourself to others. Perfection is about appearances. It thrives on comparisons and judgments. Growth is internal. It's about who you are becoming, not how you appear to the world. You measure progress by your effort, your persistence, and your improvement. Did you show up today? Did you push yourself past comfort? Did you take one more step toward your goals than you did yesterday? That's the benchmark for growth. Growth also teaches patience. Progress rarely happens overnight. It's a slow, steady accumulation of effort. Imagine building muscle. One workout doesn't create transformation, but repeated workouts over months and years build strength and endurance. Imagine learning a new skill. Your first attempt may feel clumsy, but consistent practice leads to mastery. Growth compounds. Small, daily improvements add up to monumental change over time. And here's the most powerful truth. Growth builds resilience. When you focus on progress instead of perfection, mistakes no longer break you. Setbacks become lessons. Challenges become opportunities. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you persevere despite failure, you strengthen not just your skills, but your mind. You start to develop confidence that isn't dependent on others' approval or immediate results. You become someone who can handle setbacks, someone who keeps moving forward no matter what. The shift from perfection to growth is simple but profound. Stop trying to be flawless. Start trying to be better. Take action. Learn from mistakes. Adjust and keep going. Each day, focus on improvement, no matter how small. Don't get discouraged by how far you have to go. Celebrate the steps you're taking today, because growth is a journey, not a destination. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress. Growth is the path to your potential. Every time you take imperfect action, every time you embrace discomfort, every time you commit to learning, you move closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. The key is consistency. Don't wait for perfection to start living, creating, learning, and improving. Start now. Start imperfectly and trust the process. Growth doesn't care about perfection. It cares about persistence, effort, and your willingness to keep going. And when you commit to that, there is nothing that can stop you. Now it's time to make a choice that will define your future. Will you stay trapped chasing perfection, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect version of yourself, the perfect plan? Or will you step forward, embrace the messiness of growth, and take imperfect action today? Here's the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The perfect plan will never feel perfect enough. The perfect version of yourself is a moving target. Waiting for perfection is just an excuse to stay comfortable, to stay stagnant, to stay in the shadows of what you could become. Growth doesn't wait. Growth doesn't care about your fears or doubts. Growth rewards action, effort, and persistence. Every great person you admire started where you are now, uncertain, inexperienced, maybe even afraid. But they chose action over hesitation. They chose learning over judgment. They chose progress over perfection. They failed, and they got back up. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. So today, make a commitment. You will focus on growth. You will celebrate every small step forward. You will take imperfect action, knowing that each attempt brings you closer to mastery. You will stop comparing yourself to others and stop letting fear dictate your path. Instead, you will measure your success by your own improvement, your own effort, your own courage to keep moving forward. This journey is not easy. Growth is uncomfortable. It will challenge you. It will test your patience. It will push you beyond what you thought possible. But that is where transformation lives, on the edge of your comfort, in the space where most people give up. When you embrace growth, you become unstoppable. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, more resilient, more disciplined, and more capable than you were yesterday. Focus on growth, not perfection. Show up every day. Take the next step, even if it's imperfect. Trust the process, because the person you are becoming is far more powerful than the idea of perfection. Start now. Start today. And never let perfection stop you from becoming the best version of yourself. Growth is your path. Your progress is your power. And your potential is limitless.